Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Puramansa Pariprajaka Ashto Tarasata Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Nama Acharya Sridhar Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Welcome everybody to Srimad Bhagavatam reading with His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami. It is Tuesday, December 16th, 2025, and we're beginning with Canto 4 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 24, Text 54. And going to send a reminder, when you're using the chat, you can use large font so that we can read it. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Gurmaj, would you like to begin with 54?
Bhavan bhaktimata labhyo tulapa sarvadehinam swarajyasyapya bhimata ekantin atmavidgatihi. Actually, why don't you read for me? And maybe I'll comment.
Yes, Gurmaj. Okay. Text 54. Translation. My dear Lord, the King in charge of the heavenly kingdom is also desirous of obtaining the ultimate goal of life, devotional service. Similarly, you are the ultimate destination of those who identify themselves with you, Aham Brahmasmi. However, it is very difficult for them to attain you, whereas a devotee can very easily attain your lordship. Purport. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Videshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakta. This indicates that it is very difficult for one to attain the ultimate goal of life and reach the supreme destination, Vaikuntha Loka or Goloka Vrindavan, simply by studying Vedanta philosophy or Vedic literature. However, this highest perfectional stage can be attained by the devotees very easily. That is the meaning of Vedeshu Durlabham Adurlabham Atma Bhakto. The same point is confirmed by Lord Shiva in this verse. The Lord is very difficult for the karma yogis, jnana yogis, and dhyana yogis to attain. Those who are bhakti yogis, however, have no difficulty at all. In the word Svar, Svar refers to Svargaloka, the heavenly planet, and Svaragya refers to the ruler of the heavenly planet, Indra. Generally, karmis desire elevation to heavenly planets, but King Indra desires to become perfect in bhakti yoga. Those who identify themselves as Aham Brahmasmi, I am the supreme Brahman, one with the absolute truth, also ultimately desire to attain perfect liberation in the Vaikuntha planets or Goloka Vrindavan. In Bhagavad Gita 1855, it is said, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavanyas chasmi tatvataha tato mam tatvato gnatva visate tadanantaram. One can understand the Supreme Personality as he is only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Thus, if one desires to enter into the spiritual world, he must try to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by practicing Bhakti Yoga. Simply by practicing Bhakti Yoga, one can understand the Supreme Lord in truth. But without such understanding, one cannot enter the spiritual kingdom. One may be elevated to the heavenly planets, or may realize himself as Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, but that is not the end of realization. One must realize the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead by Bhakti Yoga. Then real perfection of life is attained. Gurmaj, do you have any comments? I don't have any.
Om Jnana Timirantasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadhati Shabadatikam Vandehang Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamala Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Vrijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shagana Lalita Sri Vishakan Vidamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Puri Priye Vanchako Patirubhyascha Prabha Sindho Pyevacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Van Bhakti Mata Labhyo Durlabha Sarvadehina Swarajyasyapyabhimata Ekantain Atmavid Gatihi. The Srila Prabhupada makes this verse quite simple to understand. The Bhavan Bhaktimata Labhya, my dear Lord, Bhavan, you can be reached, Labhya, by Bhakti Yoga. Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati Yavanyastasmita. Otherwise, Durlabha, that devotional service is Sarvadehinam, for all living entities, difficult. Why difficult? Because the conditioned souls are attracted to other things. They're attracted to elevation to the heavenly planets, or they're attracted to merging with the impersonal absolute. Aham Brahmasmi. I'm Brahma, and the absolute truth is Brahma. Therefore, there's no difference between me and the supreme absolute truth. In this way, they seek oneness, absolute oneness, Jayādvaita, and miss out on the opportunity to serve the Lord. Simple. Nice to see Krishna Konteya here, by the way. Looks like you're back at home. So good to see. So it looks like you must be making some progress. Hare Krishna.
Saraswati
Yes.
Master.
Pranams, Parampuja, Guru Maharaj, and all the Vaishnavas. So Guru Maharaj very specifically referred to Indra and then saying that it's very difficult for them to attain Krishna. But of course we know that Lord Indra may be a Sakam devotee, like many devotees, many other devotees all over the universe. But although it says it's difficult, it's not impossible for them to become.
It's there, but to go back to Godhead and reach perfection is hard for the demigods because they are Muhyanti Yatsurya. They tend to be bewildered by the standard of opulence to which they're entitled. So And even if Indra may go back to Godhead, those who are aspiring for his post definitely have a hard time. They could be aspiring to be engaged in the service of the lotus feet of Krishna, but instead they're hoping to be elevated to the kingdom of Indra for the enjoyment of sense gratification. And what is that? Your verse is escaping me. Abhogashaya prasaktanam teya paritachetas. For those who are bewildered by thoughts of great enjoyment, to develop the single-minded determination to engage in Krishna service is difficult.
Guru Maharaj, I have another follow-up question. I was in a class and can't remember where I read it, who I heard it from even, or what the reference was, but they talked about how it's only here in this Bhuvarlok that we experience these different yugas. Nowhere else in the other planets do they experience the changing of the yugas. So we know how for Kali Yuga it's a Nam Sankirtan. So, but this Nam Sankirtan Yuga Dharma, if the changes of yuga is not experienced in higher planetary systems or other planets, then is that concession of Nama Sankirtan or that recommendation also apply to everyone, every living entity in all planets?
Yep, they can also do Nam Sankirtan on the heavenly planets. I was just reading today, what was it? Oh, Nard Muni. It's related how Nard Muni in his previous life was a Gandharva, and he would sometimes chant the holy name of Hari in some assembly of the demigods. But he was too much puffed up by his beauty and so on. So therefore he was cursed to become a Shudra. That means Kirtan is going on even on Indraloka. But again, it's like, what's the word? It's not the focus. There's, why have I gone to Indraloka? To enjoy sense gratification and do some devotional service. So that Aikantika Bhakti, one-pointed devotional service, is difficult to find.
We have something in the chat. Praveen Prabhu writes,
Kim Duskarayar na Kratubhis Tapo Retire Danadi Bhir Va Tujayena Paguna Nayatra Narayana Pada Pankaja Smriti. Kim Duskarayar na Kratubhis Tapo Retire Danadi Bhir Va Tujayena Paguna Nayatra Narayana Pada Pankaja Smriti Shushtati Shayendriyot Savat. Demigods continue. Why don't you read what the demigods have to say?
The demigods continue. After performing the very difficult tasks of executing Vedic ritualistic sacrifices, undergoing austerities, observing vows, and giving charity, we have achieved this position as inhabitants of the heavenly planets. But what is the value of this achievement? Here we are certainly very engaged in material sense gratification, and therefore we can hardly remember the lotus feet of Lord Narayan. Indeed, because of our excessive sense gratification, we have almost forgotten his lotus feet.
And there you have the position of the heavenly planets. And therefore, the demigods pray that if at the end of our tenure as demigods, we have any pious credits left, then let us take birth on earth in Bharatvarsha, so that we can take up seriously the service of the lotus feet of the Lord. Hare Krishna.
I have a question.
Mm.
How is the word lotus feet used here? What do they mean by that in this context?
Pada Pankaja Smriti, Narayana Pada Pankaja. This is an often used phrase, Kripayatava Pada Pankaja. Pada Pankaja. Pankaja means lotus. Pada means feet. So the lotus feet of the Lord. The lotus feet are explained in different ways. One is that his feet are very beautiful, and the lotus is the standard of beauty. So the even in, what is that, Namo Pankajana Abhaya, Namo Pankajamaline, Namo Pankajanitraya. So in that way, the Namaste Pankajangre, the various parts of the Lord, lotus feet, lotus navel, lotus face, everything, lotus, it said the inhabitants of Vrindavan were seeing lotuses everywhere, because every part of the body is compared to a lotus, exceedingly beautiful. Another meaning is that Loka Vrindavan, the planet, is shaped like a lotus, and his feet are always there in Vrindavan. So again, lotus feet. Yeah, those two meanings we've heard. It seems to me there are more, but that'll get us started. Is that okay? Also, it means transcendental, that in a general sort of way, that divine or transcendental in a way of recognizing that the Lord is not an ordinary human being. His every part of his body is transcendental. Also, it indicates that he's a person. Nye nye ravindaksha vimuktamanina tvayastabhava avishuddha bhutaya aruya kristrena param padam tata patantyadho nadrita yushmad angreya. My dear Lord, those who are thinking themselves liberated without being engaged in devotional service are not pure in their consciousness. After some time, they fall down because they've neglected your lotus feet. There in Sanskrit, lotus isn't there, but it's there in Prabhupada's translation and in our understanding. That Prabhupada explained, feet means person. So lotus feet, not just lotus mandala or something of that nature, something impersonal. Lotus feet means person. So when we hear about the lotus feet of the Lord, it implies that from the feet are connected to the whole body, and the body is personal. The Lord has form, and that means he has qualities, activities, associates, everything. Is that okay?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we just read 54, so we're on 55. Should we pass it on to others tonight, Guru Maharaj, or what do you like to?
No, I'm greedy tonight. Tam dura radyam aradhya satamapi durapyaya ekanta bhaktya govan vanchet padamulam binabahi. You can read the translation.
Okay. 1 moment. Okay, translation. My dear Lord, pure devotional service is even difficult for liberated persons to discharge, but devotional service alone can satisfy you. Who will take to other processes of self-realization if he is actually serious about the perfection of life?
Purport.
Shall I?
Please.
Purport. The word satam refers to transcendentalists. There are 3 kinds of transcendentalists: the jnani, yogi, and bhakta. Out of these 3, the bhakta is selected as the most suitable candidate to approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is emphasized herein that only one who is outside devotional service would not engage in searching for the lotus feet of the Lord. Foolish people sometimes maintain that God may be attained in any way, either by karma yoga, jnana yoga, etc. But here it is clearly stated that it is impossible to obtain the mercy of the Lord by any means but bhakti yoga. The word duraradya is especially significant. It is very difficult to attain the lotus feet of the Lord by any method other than bhakti yoga. Ramesh, would you like to comment?
Again, here, there are different kinds of transcendentalists, but ekanta bhaktya, the Lord is achievable by pure devotional service, one-pointed devotional service. So who would be so foolish as to give up service to the lotus feet of the Lord, unless he's, yes, who would be so fool, unless he's a fool, who would do it? Okay, I think that's clear enough.
Yep. We have something from Praveen Prabhu. Long quote here.
Rajan Patir Guru Alam Avatam Yadunam Daivam Priya Kulapati Kwacha Kinkaro Va Asveva Manga Bhagavan Vatata Mukundo Muktim Dadati Karhachitsmana Bhakti Yoga. Translation.
My dear King, the Supreme Person, Mukunda, is actually the maintainer of all of the members of the Pandava and Yadu dynasties. He is your spiritual master, worshipable deity, friend, and the director of your activities. To say nothing of this, he sometimes serves your family as a messenger or servant. This means he worked just as ordinary servants do. Those engaged in getting the Lord's favor attain liberation from the Lord very easily. But he does not very easily give the opportunity to render direct service unto him.
Yes, in the Nectar of Devotion it's stated that pure devotional service, one of its qualities is that it's rarely achieved. Why? Because the Lord sells himself to the pure devotee. The Lord becomes subordinate to the pure devotee. So it's not so easy. Not so easy to take up pure devotional service. It's easier to be distracted by what is that? Pushpitam Vacham, the flowery words of the Vedic literature, which talk about elevation to heavenly planets, or it's easy to be distracted by impersonal speculations about becoming one with the Supreme. But to engage in the service of the Lord requires, finally, the mercy of a pure devotee. It's not by any material assets that one can achieve devotional service, only by special mercy. Nice
Much.
verses tonight, Praveen. Thank you very much. Yes, you were saying something, Rasanand.
Yeah, I have a question on this verse that you just read from Praveen Prabhu.
Mm.
Says those engaged in getting the Lord's favor attain liberation from the Lord very easily. I'm not sure if I understand what it's saying here.
Take liberation. You've approached me. I'm Mukunda, the giver of liberation. Take liberation. Be happy to give it to you. You've rendered some service here. Take liberation from material existence. That's easy. That's only a small byproduct, though, of devotional service. If one achieves pure devotional service, liberation is automatically there in the package. And there will be those who will say, this is what I came for, to get free from material existence. And now that blessing has been bestowed upon me, I'm completely satisfied. I don't want anything else. So, but there'll be those who will say, no, I don't. Liberation is not the point. The point is to be engaged in your service. Only those who have that determination can achieve perfection in bhakti yoga.
Does that mean that there's a risk of impersonal liberation for those chanting Hare Krishna?
Yes. They may be chanting Hare Krishna, but desiring, O Lord, O energy of the Lord, please absorb me into your effulgence. Please let me attain oneness with you. According to the motive of just like there are those who are chanting Hare Krishna for some material benefit. It's offensive chanting. They're thinking that chanting the holy name of the Lord is like one of the auspicious activities recommended in the Vedas for material advancement. So they're chanting with that in mind, and they may get it also. And then there are those who are chanting, but their goal is liberation. What is that history in Chaitanya Charitamrita? To see the Lord at Puri, one of his associates was going, Raghunath Das Goswami or Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, I think Raghunath Bhatta Goswami was going to see the Lord at Puri. And along the way, this very first-class Brahmin joined him with a very humble service mood. And he was assisting in so many ways. And when you read about it in Chaitanya Charitamrita, you think, what a wonderful person. Naturally, he was chanting the holy name and he was rendering service. Then when they reached Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased to see the Goswami. Forget whether Raghunath Das or Raghunath but the Lord ignored that wonderful Brahmin, because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the super soul of every living entity, knew that that man's aspiration was impersonal oneness. So it's possible. And what is that called? Koitava Dharma. One takes up the life of a devotee, but he has some motive to achieve oneness with the Lord. So one may come with some motive. If one is very fortunate, then the Lord takes away that material desire or super material desire for liberation. But the Lord is not obliged to do that. Instead, one may get what one came for. That's unfortunate. Such a lofty achievement, oneness with the Lord. But for the devotee, that's hellish, kaivalyam narakayate, because it precludes the opportunity, deprives one of the opportunity to render personal loving devotional service in exchange for the Lord. Personal loving dealings. Is that okay?
Yes, thank you very much. Praveen Prabhu writes, Muktim dadati kar yichit. The Lord may easily give liberation, but not bhakti.
Next verse. Yat nirvishtam arunam kritanto na bhimanyate vishvam vidvamsayan virya shaurya spurjita prabha. Yes.
Okay, text 56. Saraswati Mashi, would you like to read the purport there? Or translation too?
Translation. Simply by expansion of his eyebrows, invincible time personified can immediately vanquish the entire universe. However, formidable time does not approach the devotee who has taken complete shelter at your lotus feet. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 10.34, it is said that the Lord, in the shape and form of death, destroys all a person's possessions. Mrityu sarva harsha chaham. I am all devouring death. The Lord, in the shape of death, takes away everything that is created by the conditioned soul. Everything in this material world is subject to perish in due course of time. However, all the strength of time cannot hamper the activities of a devotee, for a devotee takes complete shelter under the lotus feet of the Lord. For this reason only is a devotee free from formidable time. All the activities of the karmis and jnanis which have no touch of devotional service are spoiled in due course of time. The material success of the karmis is destined to be destroyed. Similarly, the impersonal realization attained by the jnanis is also destroyed in the course of time. Arya krachina param padam tata patyanti adho nadrita yushmad anugrahayah. Bhagavatam 10.2.32. To say nothing of the karmis, the jnanis undergo severe austerities to attain the impersonal Brahma Jyoti, but because they do not find the lotus feet of the Lord, they fall down again into this material existence. Unless one is fully situated in unalloyed devotional service, there is no guarantee of liberation, even if one is elevated to the heavenly planets or to the impersonal Brahma effulgence. A devotee's achievement, however, is never lost by the influence of time. Even if a devotee cannot completely execute devotional service, in his next life he begins from the point where he left off. Such an opportunity is not given to the karmis and jnanis, whose achievements are destroyed. The bhakta's achievement is never destroyed, for it goes on perpetually, be it complete or incomplete. This is the verdict of all Vedic literatures. Suchinam Shrimatam Ge Yoga Brashto Bhijayat. If one is unable to complete the process of bhakti yoga, he is given a chance in his next life to take birth in a pure family of devotees or in a rich family. In such families, a person can have a good opportunity to further progress in devotional service. When Yamraja, the superintendent of death, was instructing his assistants, he told them not to approach the devotees. The devotees should be offered respect, he said, but do not go near them. Thus the devotees of the Lord are not under the jurisdiction of Yamraj. Yamraj is a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he controls the death of every living entity. Yet he has nothing to do with the devotees. Simply by blinking his eyes, time personified can destroy the entire cosmic manifestation, but he has nothing to do with devotees. In other words, a devotional service which is rendered by the devotee in this lifetime can never be destroyed by time. Such spiritual assets remain unchanged, being beyond the influence of time. Om Gyanantimirindasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha.
Well, before you charge ahead, I was going to speak something.
Yes, please, Guru Maharaj.
Sneha Bikramana Shosti Prajavayo Navidyate. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that in this Krishna consciousness, there's no loss, there's no diminution. For the same reason that it's not under the jurisdiction of time. Rather, time serves the devotee. What is that? Sanskrit's escaping me. But every time the sun rises and sets, it takes away ayurarati. Thank you, Vaipam Sam. Ujyanashtam chayan so. Tasyarte yakshano nita uttama shloka partaya. Both by rising and by setting, the sun decreases the duration of life of everyone, except one who utilizes the time by discussing topics of the all-good personality of Godhead. The sun is the measure of time, therefore you have sundials, and we have calendars recording the passing of time in terms of the activities of the sun. But and every time the sun rises and sets, that's now one day subtracted from our life. But not for the devotee. For the devotee, he's one day closer to the personality of Godhead. In the fourth canto of Bhagavatam, we find that when at the end of Dhruva Maharaj's life, death personified, a Vaikuntha airplane came to take Dhruva Maharaj to the Dhruva Loka, the Vaikuntha, and death personified also came to his usual work. So Dhruva Maharaj just stepped on death's head. You need something to step on with a little stairway to get up onto the plane. So, all right, death has come. We'll step on his head and get into the plane. So this is the position of time or death. Mrityu sarvaharascha. Death takes away everything, but not for the devotee. Death is friendly for the devotee because it doesn't destroy anything for him. At least nothing that he wants. Maybe this body will be destroyed, but what do we want to hold on to this body? The devotee is not attached to keeping this body. He's attached to devotional service to the Lord. And that devotional service is beyond the reach of time. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the devotee, has no fear of samsara. What need has he to pray for release from samsara? Time, Vedanta, does not consider that the person who's entered the shelter of the Lord's feet is his possession. Time destroys the universe by the movement of his brow, agitated by power and determination. Time, kalos mi loka kshayakrit pravritto, okalan samahart iha pravritta. Time destroys everything, but not for the devotee. There's a question there.
Yes. So, Saraswati Mataji, would you like to?
Oh, yes.
There's a question there. Oh, yes.
Appreciate it.
I think Saraswati, read it.
Yes. Just a second. Is this from Praveen? Oh, no, we read that, I think. Murari Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Maharaj, Gnanis attain perfection after many births. I thought that this meant that each birth they make a bit more progress, but this purport seems to indicate otherwise.
No, they may progress, but let's see. Gyanis may progress, but then they ruin themselves because their progress all culminates in achieving the impersonal Brahmajyoti. And from there, they can lose it all. They come back down. So in that sense, it becomes a loss. They can advance, Bhavanam Janmanamate. They can advance as Gyanis. But unless they come to the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, they have no place to stand, no place to stay. And so they fall down. So there's the loss. I hope that's okay.
Guru Maharaj, I have a question, if I may. You know how in the Mukunda Stotra, the king, I forget his name, he prays to the Lord. Kulushekar, yes, and he prays to the Lord how at the end of his life he would like his swan-like mind, like swans are always seeking lotuses, so that his mind will always seek the lotus feet of the Lord. And when we were growing up, there was a bhajan that, well, my grandmother used to sing quite often, and it was all sort of related to this time of death. And it was begging Krishna that that they could have the facility and capability to utter Govinda in their last breath. But then the last verse of that bhajan says that I know that this prayer itself sounds a little bit self-centered because you're still asking, but they were just so desperate to want to always be in association with Krishna. So they thought that Krishna would forgive them even if the prayer sounded a little self-centered. So I'm just wondering, is it really self-centered to want that?
Yes, I want to serve you. So that has to do with my desire. It's personal. The living being has desires. That's the symptom of a living being. The Buddhists, the Mayavadis, they want to have no desire because desire is all selfish. And selfish desire binds us to material existence. But the devotee doesn't go in that direction. No, I have some desire. What is that desire? I want to serve you. I want to serve you. So that's, in one sense, self-centered. It's all about me. But it's all about me in relationship to you. And not in the relationship that, I want you to give me this, I want you to give me that. But I want to serve you. So even if we consider that a selfish desire or selfish request, because it's about fulfilling my own desire, but my desire is to serve you. So accepted. We don't say no desires. Desires are no good. That desire is very much wanted.
Thank you so much.
Sure, Maharaj, I have a question on this. Is it all right? Or should we? I'm wondering if we were talking about that we shouldn't care much about this body, and then we hear also the demigods are praying for the human form of body because it's suitable. So how do we reconcile that? Since this human body is important for something.
Yeah, well, it's important, but when it's finished, it's finished. So the demigods are praying, let me be born in Bharatvarsha so that I'll have the opportunity to serve you. But at the end, the devotee prays, where's the question of serving you? Now this body is finished. So let it go. What is that? Om Kratos Marakratam Vayur Anilam Amritam Basmantam Shariram Yatedam Basmantam Shariram. The devotees, at the end, he doesn't pray, my dear Lord, please let this body continue to exist so that I can serve you in this physical body, which is now totally falling apart, useless. But somehow I don't want to leave this body, keep me here. No. It's now become a piece of junk. So you can do what you like with it. It's finished. Not somehow or other, please let me hold on to this body longer. No. When it was good for devotional service, I was happy to have this body to use for that purpose. Now it's finished. The materialists are never finished. Somehow or other, let this body continue to the point where even if I die, let my body be frozen so that one day it can be thawed out and I can return to spring back into life in this body and enjoy some more. So foolish. But the devotee, take it, it's done. Even give it up. Yogis will give up this body in a fire, self-created fire, where they'll raise the life air to the top of the head. And while doing that, they merge the elements of the body back into the totality of elements from which they came. When we read about the yoga system, even for devotees like Yudhishthira Maharaj, this was their meditation. All right, bodies made of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. Let all of those elements be merged back into the totality of elements so that I can be freed from this body and go back to Godhead. So this was the difference. The devotees, not like the materialists, somehow let me hold on to this body. No. Let it go.
It's time for Kirtan. We have these last two comments I'll read. Praveen Prabhu. Ramesh, do you want to read this or should I?
Yatotana pada putro munina kittayarbakaha mrityo kutvaiva murtinyamrim haruroha hare padam. Yeah, this is about Dhruva Maharaj at the end, stepping on the head of death and going back to Godhead. And then Murari says, Christians have the concept of getting this body back in a rejuvenated condition that lasts forever. Yes, some Christians cherish that hope. All right.
Time for Kirtan. Krishna Kon. Yeah. Krishna Kondeya Prabhu. Will you be able to lead kirtan? Good to see you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitago, Haribo, 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 Nitago, Haribo, 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 Nitago, Haribo, Nitago, Primnandi, Hari Haribo.
Jai Sripad Panaman Supari Prajukacharya Stotra Sri Srimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Raj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Am Sekaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jayādvaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Amanu Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol.
His Holiness Jayādvaita Swami ki jai.
Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai.
Uh,
Nice to hear your strong voice, Krishna Kanteya Prabhu.
hopefully it'll get stronger.
Hare Krishna. Nice kirtan. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.